For some reason, I don't see it.
Oh, where you can share it?
Yeah, because last time I was able to share it right away.
Yeah.
Facebook changes so much, it's hard for me to find where's what now. Okay, there we go.
Oh, it is. Hold on. Let me, I'm going to turn on the slide over here. Jesus, keep me a little close.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are here for the Purpose Lab. Type in the chat where you are tuning in from, your city and state. We want to hear from you.
I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. Where are you from? I'm from Atlanta.
New York City here. Where are you guys from?
Yeah.
Type in the chat.
Yes, what's up? What's up? What's up? Did you share it?
I'm putting it on your page now.
Okay. Boom.
Why doesn't it let me? We got some shy people. Y'all don't want to type where y'all from
Is that me?
in the chat?
That may be me. Oh, no, there's two people now. Because I'm looking at it on my computer, too, and because I'm trying to see if I could share it, but there's no way I could share it.
Yeah, as soon as I could put you on. Actually, if you go, because if for some reason you're not coming up, if you go to my page, share it.
I'm on it.
See if it comes up. For some reason, it's not able to come up. We'll be starting shortly, ladies. This week's topic on the Purpose Lab Boss Up Chat series is purpose crisis. I remember having a purpose crisis. How about you, Anise?
Yes, and until I kind of got some wisdom on it, and now it's totally
yes,
different. Totally different.
That is the solution.
I want to.
Are you able to see it? Okay, cool. I see you shared it.
Okay.
All right, ladies. So last week was the first episode of the Purpose Lab here, where we open the space. This is a sacred space for women. Gentlemen are welcome to come here, and where we're able to, find what your passion and purpose and be able to create some amazing, amazing things that will grow and evolve. So we welcome you here. As I've shared from before, and those who do or do not know me, I'm Lauren L.C. Thriver here from New York City, and we have this one.
Is it? Because you're this way. Anise, I'm in Atlanta. Hot Atlanta, clutch your southern part.
Yes. It is hot. I just came from Atlanta, and I got a little sunburn. I was like,
yes. I don't know if you can see all this. I don't know if you can see all the.
Mind you, it's like 50 degrees here in New York and raining, so go figure. I'll come back for my sunburn for all that. Type in the chat where you guys are tuning in from, your city and state. Where we got some people from down south, East Coast, West Coast. Where y'all at? Hold on, let me make sure I can see.
I can't see, like I usually, last time I could see, but I can't see. But okay.
Yeah, this doesn't show this time. It's all right.
Yeah, it's okay.
Why doesn't mine kind of show on here? Am I back?
Yeah, we can see you.
Okay. All right, so we can go ahead and get started. I don't know why my thing won't show. Okay. So this week on as far as having a purpose crisis, I'll start off in sharing about where was a time where I had a purpose crisis. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I find it as if it's like your future is like to come out and get you. I had a purpose crisis maybe about 2012 into 2013. And I'm so thankful for that purpose crisis because, and when I say purpose crisis, it's just like, you have that time when you ask yourself, what am I here for? Where am I doing? What do I want to create? What am I passionate about? What is my purpose? You know what I mean? I started asking myself those questions because I went through a series of changes in my life where, yes, I went to college, I did all the things you're supposed to do, I even landed a job in my field, and it just wasn't enough. I wasn't fulfilled. I wasn't making the money and things like that I wanted. And I just started to be like, okay, I have to find something else. So I mingled around. I still was kind of stuck. I don't know if I shared this before, but I had enlisted into the U.S. Navy back in 2009. I was supposed to ship out Cinco de Mayo, and maybe God, I mean, well, not maybe, but God had a different plan for me. At the time, I injured my leg. I burnt my leg. So long story short, I got kicked out, and guess what? I'm back to asking another question. What am I supposed to be doing? What am I here for? Got back into the field of working, and literally that was short-lived. It was like a year later, and I never forget telling my supervisor, I was like, I have to go. I have to quit. And she was like, well, do you have something lined up? Like, what is going on? Her and I were very close. We're still close to this day. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I was like, I have to get out there. There's me. I don't know what it is, but I got to go. I feel like back then, that was 2011, that was the peak in the beginning of when my purpose was calling me. I didn't have the crisis yet. I felt like I had the crisis later in 2000. What it was just like I was humbled down so low, and I happened to fall into depression. But I think I'm very thankful for that dark moment because that's where the light was shined through that. And that's where I started to really, really dig and ask myself a lot of key questions. Really getting to know who Lauren was. What does she want? What inspires her? What makes her tick? You know what I mean? What makes me lose and pass the time with? So I definitely thank the time of training for the U.S. Navy because that's the only time where I started to work out. I was not an active person or cared to work out, but I saw a lot of changes and everything in my body, and other people have. Long story short, I was able to, I decided that I was going to take that leap and go into personal training. I got my certification, and that was the beginning part of where I was like, okay, my purpose is to be here in a space to help and move people in a way, and I feel like I'm continuing to walk through my purpose. So that was the first stage, is that I was able to be at a point to help more women, that's mostly my clients, but help people to find themselves, to be able to move in more of a health way through their bodies, and then start getting through their minds. And that's what I'm doing now, to help and evolve for them to find their purpose, their passion, their skills and expertise to start and launch a business. And that's particularly what I did. I started my business. I even started another business, and I'm not afraid to take that jump. So that's where I was able to dig into that. And that's where another calling, another purpose, it doesn't stop. Another purpose and a calling has started, and where I was able to launch my Thrive Abundantly Academy, where I help women to be able to create themselves, build their business, and ultimately be able to build wealth. So that was my first experience of the purpose crisis. And I want to, speak to all the women who are out there. If you're having that, embrace it. It's like, looking back, it was like one of the greatest things that could have happened to me, because it's like, it's your calling. Something's speaking to you. What do you think, Anise?
Mm-hmm. What was because you said that was the first part of you moving into the calling part of your purpose. What was the crisis part of your purpose?
So the crisis was the flip. So it was just like, okay, go to the Navy. That didn't work. I get kicked out, and it's like, let me tell you, I cut my hair off. Mm-hmm. I don't cut my hair. So that was like one thing. I cut my hair off, gave away all my clothes. Literally, I was so prepared. I literally had, those little drawstring book bags, mm-hmm. where that's all I had to my name, with just like 4 or 5 pair of white underwear, socks, a phone book, and a Bible. That's all I had. And I was so ready to go to that next level, but, I had other plans for me. So that was like the beginning of the crisis, I would say. And then what else? Now I'm stuck. I mean, things started to evolve. I ended up getting my own apartment, ended up getting a job that was way better than the last job I had. So, I was just like, okay, things are happening. But it literally, like 8 months later, it was like the crisis started to come again. Like, so when I say crisis, I feel as though it's like, God or universe or whatever that anybody particularly believes on keeps narrowing, like it's like a lens, and it keeps turning you to look at something. And the more you try to look other ways or whatever, and you're not paying attention, like about and speak within myself, I had to start really getting geared in with prayer and meditation. And then that's where it was so crystal clear when it started. But hi Patrice, in your city and state, love, where you I'm tuning in from. But that's where it really started to like draw me. So I would say that the crisis was like, it came in layers. I would say the crisis hit hard was about 2013, the beginning of 2013. I just literally everything that I had going on, I didn't want. I just was so stuck. Like, you're trying to move and you go here and you go there. You're trying to find another thing like that. And you just, Darren is tuned on. He remember we used to work together, and our supervisor that we used to work to was the exact last corporate job that I had. Thank you, Darren. Was the last corporate job where I had, and I just had to jump. So I would say my crisis happened in layers, but the big one where I fell through a depression myself, because when you take that leap and you go out, I'm like, something is out there and I'm all inspired. And I end up getting into network marketing, and I'm thinking I'm going to be a millionaire in 2 months. Like, not per se, but you have this thing, and it's a lot harder than you thought. And it's just like you have no plans, or it just, you start to get all over yourself. And I feel like that was the beginning of my entrepreneur life. Like, so I would say the entrepreneur spirit has been pulling and pulling and pulling, because I've had experience back when I was 18 trying to get me to go this path. So it's been chasing me for some years or whatever. But I would say that was like the beginning stage of when all that happened.
That's good. So how do you define purpose now versus then?
Okay, so then purpose, I don't think I really quite, like from a soul standpoint, knew what purpose was. Like, I hear people say it. I've been to workshops. They talk about it in different conferences and in school. At that point, I felt like your purpose was, finding what kind of career you wanted, and just getting the job in the field. So I felt like I was on my purpose. Like, I went to school for rehab. Well, I was in nursing at first. I always had a sense of like, I always been in the realm of healing the body, learning how to get you to feel better and all that. So I always felt like I was in my purpose per se, because I went to school, did really well, dean's list, all that good stuff. Graduated and got the job that was actually in my field. But once I got there, it was like, this isn't it. So at that point, I felt like I lost the whole definition of what I thought purpose was for. I really thought at the time a purpose is just doing what you're supposed to do the best you can, get your good grades, get your job, and keep on going or whatever. So I would say that was the definition of purpose to me now. Purpose then. Purpose now is like, your purpose should be so deep. It's kind of like it's your why. You get what I'm saying? It should be so deep, it makes the hair on the back of on your arm stand up. You know what I mean? Like, I've been able to come to the point, and I've always been in the space. My purpose is to move and inspire people to live in their realm of what they want, and want the life that they want to create for themselves in any way and what it is. Get them to think differently. What is the past and the waves of how you should be thinking. So for me, purpose speaks in such an abundance. You get what I'm saying? And in a space of like your calling, what moves you, what inspires you, what keeps coming towards you, and really gearing in and finding what that is. You know it. Like, when you, like, I remember last week we were talking about, finding your why, and it should be so deep that you cry. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's something that you just can't help to talk about. I didn't choose this path. It chose me. You know what I'm saying? Because in my mind, I never forget, I might have been like 23 years old or something like that, 23, 24. And I was at the point where I remember people talked all these things, like, live big, become a millionaire, all those things. And I was like, look, I just want to get a job where I don't have no problems with nobody. I clock in, clock out, and go home. And that was purpose for me. That was living in a comfortable space and things like that. So purpose now is like, it's a space where you can, it gets uncomfortable, and that's okay. And I'm happy with being uncomfortable because I know I'm driving more and more towards my purpose. And I feel like purpose comes in layers. You know what I mean? Because you start to evolve and see more and more what God has intended for you. And I feel like that's what it is. So when you're I think, and if I had to say one word of what purpose is, it's alignment.
That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Alignment. For the people who are watching or who are going to watch the replay, I would suggest you get out some paper and you write through this conversation. I'm going to give you guys I live my life, I always do word studies to find out where I am, to understand, to dissect something. I believe when we have a word and you find the definition of the word, that's when you find the purpose of that word. How is it supposed to function? What is it supposed to look like? What is it supposed to accomplish while I'm going through it? Okay. So I'm going to tell my story in a sense, but I really want to talk about how to look at crisis and I know y'all, I'm looking up and down again because I have my computer here. And I'm really silly, so whatever. How to work through the work through. Okay, how to work through the work through. Okay, so in Chinese calligraphy, in the Chinese writing, crisis is two characters. Crisis is two characters. One character stands for danger, and the other character stands for opportunity. Opportunity. Anytime you find yourself in the place of disheveled, in the midst of a transition that is painful, you are in the valley of decision, and you have to make a decision at that point between, am I in a place of danger, or am I in a place of opportunity? Crisis exists solely based on how you deal with it. How you deal with it. That's what determines whether or not you're in a crisis space. Nothing is neither good or bad, but thinking makes it so. Everything that you walk through is neutral. It's how you judge it. It's how you handle it. It's what you decide about it that makes it either good or bad, that makes it dangerous, or that makes it an opportunity. Does that make sense? And so I've come through a lot of crises, just how my life was birthed and the way that my life was formed. And so the whole time when I begin to understand that I'm really standing in a neutral place, in transition, in comfort, in discomfort, it is neutral. It becomes activated by how I see it and how I handle it. Okay. So I have handled many transitions in error. And that really did birth a place of fear, a place of danger, a place of craziness. And I chose that. I chose that. Anything that you're standing in right now, you have the opportunity to say that this is an opportunity, that this is a window that life is presenting me to jump through or to hesitate at. Okay? And so when we look at crisis in Hebrew, crisis just means a turning point. The word crisis means a turning point. In Greek, the word crisis means to reach a decision. That's it. And so again, it's all in how you deal with whatever you're dealing with. When we're talking about crisis, you enter into how we see crisis, the danger, the fear, the craziness, the depletion, the not having enough, the failed relationships, the depression, the darkness, whatever we label as crisis, it's that way because you judged it. It's that way because you decided that's what it was going to be. That's how powerful you are in your decision making and how you handle your life. That's how powerful you are. Okay, so when we look at the word purpose, when we do the etymology of or where the word, how the word came to be, when you're looking at the word purpose, it means the intent of something. It means to give counsel. Purpose means to give counsel. It means to deliberate, and it means to pause. When you look at how the word purpose was put together, a piece of it was to pause. When you come to the place where you are at a purpose crisis, you're really at a place where your life has hit a place of pause. And it's almost like you're standing at a fork in the road and you have a decision to make. Okay? And so when we talk about purpose crisis, and so I'm just going to go back 4 years. I went through a really, really, really messy divorce that I lost everything. We
had the same purpose crisis time. That was 4 years ago for me too.
Yeah, that's funny. I lost everything. I lost a piece of my identity. I lost a lot of my courage. I lost a lot. And so the way I handled it, and I just went into, and I'm just even telling my story on Facebook, praise the Lord. The way I handled it was all wrong. I judged it to be this horrible place. I judged it as this is how I was going to die. I judged it as if I had no way out. I judged it. I went through this horrible depression. Life for me stopped. Life didn't stop. Life for me stopped. It compounded issues because I didn't handle it correctly, because I judged it incorrectly. And really, I was just in the valley of decision, and I was at another opportunity point in my life, an opportunity to push through and to come through. Lauren said something. She said, I didn't choose this. It chose me. And we talked about that last week, that your purpose is created before you're poured out. You were created as the antidote, as the balm, as a solution that comes alongside and brings life to the purpose. You a purpose, and then your name, your definition lends itself to the fulfillment and to the fullness of purpose. That's how amazing you are. That's how amazing your life is. But what happens is life happens. We think we're small. We see ourselves as grasshoppers. I don't have enough education. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not swift enough. I'm not this enough. And so we put ourselves literally in a crazy crisis in our mind. And when we hit the door of opportunity, and we're coming to the door of opportunity, and we are knocking. I'm in crisis. I'm in fear. I'm in craziness. And really, I'm in a place. This is the greatest opportunity of my life. For everybody who is standing at a place where you have new opportunities, at a place where something's going on in your life, your peace is not resting. You feel like there's more. I'm not talking about money. I'm not talking about happiness. I'm talking about you just feel like you were put here to do more, to be more, to serve more. You're standing in the place of opportunity. And it comes through divorce. It comes through death. Come on. It comes through heartbreak. It comes through letdown. Those are the places of your greatest opportunity, because you get to start over. Hashtag do over. Hashtag start again. Life is always saying to us every minute, every moment, you can start over again, right? You can do this however you want to do this. I don't care if you're 80. I don't care if you're 8. Life is saying to you at every now moment, every 2.5 seconds, life is saying to you, hey, look at me. You can do it over. It doesn't have to go like this. You don't have to take this road. Literally, you can do anything you want to in this moment right now with what you have in your hand. It's enough. Lauren?
Yes, I totally agree. That the one thing about me, and people who know me for years, of course, this is shared on my Facebook live feed on my personal page. So, I mean, there's people who know me personally for years, and there's people who don't. And the people who know me, I actually have 2 coworkers and other jobs that I that's on right now. And I've never been afraid to just go and start over. I mean, I really not. The thing is, what we got to do is stop worrying about what everybody else is saying about us and start saying, what are you saying to yourself?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about yourself? Because when you do that, you sound out everything else of what everybody's saying. So for me, I've jumped to many different things. I remember seeing somebody, I can't remember verbatim, but I remember seeing on my timeline where someone said something along the realms of like, how do you actually find your purpose if you haven't started anything yet? My reply was start. Like, you don't know what anything is until you get out there. You can't. One thing that always been taught to me, one of my mentors always said, get off the benches, the bleachers, and get on the field. You got to get on the field. If you do not get on the field, you're never going to know what the game is like. There's also another saying, for every jump shot you don't take, you never score. So you never know what it is. And I'm not a sports person. I just happen to use it, I'm in fitness and stuff like that. But you never know what anything is until you get out there. I'm not talking about trying. I'm talking about get out there and do the best you can. If the best you can may be something that you're not to the space of like, you could do better, then do better tomorrow. But the thing is, be happy with the decisions and things that you made or where you are, whether they were good or bad. It made and molded you. My failures is what made me. There's no such, in my mind, I don't even look at failure as something a bad thing. When I see failure, I automatically see lessons, because I had to keep going through these things to find my purpose, to be able to create the success and the things that I wanted. So I just really cut out any kind of negative connotations about anything. You got to rewire your brain. Let me tell you something, guys. We were born to win, but we're hardwired to fail. From the moment that you were born and lights hit your face, it starts to bring down your vibration. From the moment you start watching TV and things like that, that's feeding stuff into you to just tell you the way you should think and create your life. That's where we start to get hardwired. So you got to start. For me, the big shift was being able to see that and notice that. It don't matter what my mom raised me with morals, and I'm thankful for her. I won't be surprised she's on here. She'll probably comment. But I had to get to a point where I had to think for myself. A lot of times where people are living in the shadows of their whoever raised them, their parents, their grandmother, their father, anything like that. You have to get to the point that you think for yourself and you create the life for yourself. That's where you'll find happiness. That's where you will find a space where you're content. And that, my friends, is where you will find your purpose.
Now, I'm going to say this because this is, while it all sounds good, there are some of us who are really going through some things. And I'm just going to be 100 because that's the only way that I can be. I believe in giving your legacy while you're still alive. I don't believe in you living in my legacy once I'm dead. Don't romanticize me. Let me give you my life right now. I'm going to say this. There will be some points in time where life breaks you, literally. There will be some times where you want to die because it did not pan out the way you thought it was. There will be some times where you feel like you have been left for dead. When I refer to these 3 or 4 years, I went through depression. And for some people, I'm spending 100 with you. When we're talking about purpose and we're talking about managing the crisis, you are at an opportunity. But for me, you can't leap sometimes if you have children. You have to plan your leap. You have to plan your life. If you have family and people and things that you're responsible for, it will be irresponsible for me to say, well, it's all about me. Let me just do me. And, you just live with no lights and no electricity and no food. You can't do that. You can't do that. And so while I was in the valley of decision, and I'm just being honest, I totally checked out of life. And for me, the thing of courage that I did when I started waking back up to life was just getting up and taking a bath. With all my talent, with all my degrees, when I left that place, I was stripped. I was stripped of who I thought I was when I went in. to that marriage. I was stripped of the courage that I had when I went in. And so I'm in a place where I have to decide. I have to make a decision about something because I can't go on like this. I checked out of life for a year. You know, when I decided to check back in, maybe a year and a half later, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm just being honest. My credit.
Do it. That's all we can do here.
My credit. I woke up to my credit score being like 500 and 548.
Ooh,
I woke up to my student loans becoming due, and I'm just gonna be 100 with you. My student loans are is the amount of a house. I owe $185,000 on my student loans. I'm being honest. And so I woke up owing the IRS. I woke up, I got up from a year and a half of feeling sorry for myself, of wanting to die. I'm just being honest. You are in the valley of this. You have not lived until you have wanted to die. You have not lived until you have said, God, I don't want to do this anymore. When you have reached that place of, I'm ready to check out, what is the purpose of life? What is the meaning of this? Why am I here? What does my life add to the ecosystem of the universe? You have not lived. And so when I woke back up and I had to make some decisions, I had all these habits, I had all of these mental places I had to dig out of it. So I'm saying to anyone who's listening right now, you know, I'm gonna be honest with you. Your place of courage may be doing little things. Your place of courage may be getting you back and finding out and discovering who you are. And that just starts with a decision, with you deciding, hey, I went through this, I survived it, I'm still breathing, I'm still living, life is still going on, and I know I'm not gonna die like this. That is the very beginning of you coming into your greatness. You are great right now with tears in your eyes. You're great right now with depression in your belly. You're great right now with the blinds closed. You're not having a support team. Nobody knows what you're going through. You're still great. And I'm going to say this. In this country, we have such a bad habit of saying to people, well, what is it that you do? And judging people by what they say they do, that's who they are. And so if you are coming out of a place, if you're going through something, you are not what you do. You're so much greater than that. Baby, you can do anything. You're a superhero. You are not if you say that your job is meaningless or menial or demeaning or it's beneath you, it's really not, number one. But don't judge yourself by what you do. What you do is just what you do. You're so much more than that. You're so much deeper than that. You're so much greater than that. And greatness will come forth from you when you begin to separate what you do from who you are. You can always change what you do. But at the end of the day, you're always going to be who you are. At the core, you're always going to be who you are. And so I just want to, while we're talking about, find your purpose, there are some people who will watch this and their purpose literally today was just to survive. Literally. And I'm saying to you, you're on the road. You're on the road to healing and you're on the road to greatness. Mm-hmm. But at least I'm awake and I've got to make a decision. I've got to make some decisions. And you're not going to jump out of the box and just, go and be gun-ho and change. It doesn't work like that. It didn't take you didn't get here overnight and it's not going to change overnight. But as long as you're dedicated to the process of discovery, and when I say the process of discovery, I'm not talking about discovering yourself. I'm talking about discovering what you will add to humanity. You're so much more than your occupation. You're so much more than your degrees. You're so much more than your credit score. You're so much more than the neighborhood you live in. You're so much more than the businesses you create. You're so much more than the businesses that fold. You're so much more. Tap into that.
Yes, definitely. For anybody who's on here and you are going through particularly what you're going through, or if you got yourself out, please comment below and much more. I'll say it again. I am so much more. You have to be very mindful of the things that you tell yourself. What kind of dialogues are you particularly having in your head? Are you even having particular affirmations for yourself? I know one of the things that helped me and started to get me out of space when I fell through a depression, I had a space where I didn't want to be here anymore myself. And I remember, and I've shared one time before, and it's so funny, Anise, because we both had that same year. It must have been something about 2013, 12 into 13. I look at it as a stage of where, we were awakened. We had to kind of go through a little darkness to be able to come to light. And one of the things that really helped me was, affirmation, speaking and telling myself I love myself, telling myself I was proud of myself. One of the things that I kept going through, what really made me start even doubting myself or going through, was that I just kept saying, I'm not happy where I'm at, and I just kept getting lost. And I just had to come to the state where, like what you said, what you do is not you. You can always change what you do. So I had to really, because I always connected myself with what I do as who I am. So when I was at a job, that job was me, and the job wasn't what I wanted or whatever the case may be. So in my mind, I'm like a failure. This is when I felt that failure was such a bad thing and not looking at it as a growth and lessons. Right. So, you have to really tell yourself on things that you particularly want to switch it. And if it's something that you don't like, I know for me, the wake up call was, I was just like, this cannot be it. This cannot be it. I'm worth so much more than that. So much more than this. I deserve these things. And if you don't think that you deserve the things that you want to create, or things that's just in the back of your head that you think would be great, it's going to come out to be like that. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you that, because everything I sat at the space to start creating at that time was exactly what I was getting. But when I chose to stand up and really put out a space that I am going to create the life that I want with abundance and happiness, that's where things started to unlock. And as Anise said, it does not just clip up, oh, I'm happy, I want to do it, and you're just going to get up and you're going to have waves. There's going to be roller coasters up and down, but enjoy the ride. Mm-hmm. Enjoy the ride.
Mm-hmm. Is anybody commenting?
It's quiet tonight.
Is it? Yeah. The affirmations, like, I knew the right thing to say, like, when you come up in certain circles, you know what to confess or declare over yourself. And for me, that didn't work. I'm just gonna be honest, because I didn't believe what I was saying. If there is a disconnect between, what you're saying, you're just talking, you know what I mean? And so the first step for me was I needed to be quiet. I just needed to shut up. I needed to stop saying things never change. I needed to stop saying how angry I was. I needed to stop blaming others, blaming systems, blaming entities for where I was. And I just had to say, yo, this is what it is right now. This is where I am right now. And when I wanted to say something crazy, my first step was just to shut up, to not release the stupidity out of my mouth. And I didn't have anything to replace it with. But for me, that was such a big step, was just to shut up, to not spew, to not regurgitate stupidity. I'm just gonna be honest, because that's what it is. And
yeah, when you don't believe in it.
Yes, death and life are in the power of the tongue. And when you understand this, you're eating the fruit thereof. You're living on the fruit thereof. This is what you got. And so for me, it was just, let me just be quiet so I could live in neutral for a minute. Just neutral. Just let me come out of this so I could be in the place of neutral right now. You know what I mean? And
absolutely.
So I would say for the people who find themselves in a place where you are having to decide, you're having to make some decisions, there's some things that's going on in your life, either it's forced or it's by choice. You're standing in a place. Number one, the first suggestion that we make is to see this as an opportunity. If you lost your job, if you lost your marriage, if you lost anything that would be determined as loss, if you're in the winds and the throes of change and transition, the first thing that you need to do is decide. You need to judge it. You need to name it. You need to say that this is an opportunity. This is one of my great opportunities that's going to meet me along the way of my life. This is a place of opportunity, and I choose to see it as an opportunity. The word opportunity in and of itself is neutral. The word opportunity in and of itself is neutral. There are bad opportunities and there are great opportunities. The word opportunity in itself is neutral. Once you say, number one, this is not danger, so I'm going to say that this is an opportunity, you just then say, this is an opportunity that's going to serve my life at a great capacity, in a great capacity. And then begin to change that statement into a question. I hope you guys are taking some notes. Change that into a question. The human mind is designed to solve issues and solve problems that are posed to it as a question. Instead of saying, I need this, I need this, I need this, don't say I need, turn it around as a question. What can I do to get more of fill in the blank? What action or activity can I do right now to get more of, and then fill in the blank? And then capture those answers. So now you're not going around judging and making statements. Now you're actually looking and searching and seeing and watching for the clues that are showing up in your life. There are clues all around you. There are things all around you. There is great opportunity all around you that's going to lead you to a greater opportunity, another opportunity, another opportunity. That's eventually going to lead you to the truth of what this transition was always about. You're always going to be in the place of crisis. Every day you wake up, you're in the place of crisis. Is this danger or is this opportunity? I have to make a big presentation. Is this danger or is it opportunity? When I say that this is opportunity, it's still neutral. It's still neutral. And then I go on to say, you know what, this is an opportunity that's going to serve my overall purpose. And even if I don't know what my purpose is yet, I'm going to say this is going to serve my overall purpose. Something great is going to come out of this. And then I turn it into a question, right? I turn this into a question. How can I show up in this presentation and I get something, I see something that I would never see before if I never did this presentation, or I never knocked on this door, or I never made this phone call. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. It makes perfect sense. There was something that really set out, even from the beginning of your point of when you said, as far as with the affirmations, it don't hold any kind of significance if you don't believe it in your heart. And you have to kind of put in that way. And the first thing is, and I'm glad you said that, is to be still. And that's what it was. Like, I never forget one time. And I couldn't believe I got to this point where I would just burst into tears just looking at myself in the mirror. I didn't even know who the girl was that was looking back at me. So it was just such a space that, and I mean, a lot of people don't know this. I don't even think my mom knows this. I've shared it with my best friend, and I was probably the only person, and maybe one of my sisters at the time, that I might have discussed this with. But I never forget. And it's just like that moment, I'm proud of it, though. You get what I'm saying? A lot of times we look at a depression as such a bad thing per se. I'm proud of that moment because it had to hit that hard for me to sit still. I'm typically one that don't sit still, and you're trying and you're going and doing everything. And you don't have that moment to sit still. And it had to humble me down. I'm talking about down to the floor where I'm just in tears, stuck. I'm like, I took many leaps. I've done the thing. I went to college. What am I supposed to be doing? And it's just like, I was in my 20s, stressed, hair falling out. Like, why? What is going on? But I had to realize that wasn't my life. And that wasn't it. You go through your peaks and valleys. So now I go through those moments too, but I embrace it in such a good space. And whenever that does happen, I'm like, something great gonna come out of this. You get what I'm saying? Like, whenever I hit those low points, it doesn't shake me. Never forget T.D. Jakes said one time, don't let the comings and the goings that happen here on this earth shake you. Because it's always gonna happen. You get what I'm saying? There's always, it's if you understand the universal laws, if you don't know it, Google it. There's 12 universal laws. One of the laws is the law of polarity. It's like that yin and yang. You gotta have the good, you gotta have the bad, you gotta have the dark, you gotta have the light. Because if you don't, how are you gonna know which one is which? I love what Darren said here. I'm gonna read one of the comments.
Okay, because I can't see him.
Really, it's something weird going on because I can't even pop up the things that I had last week. It might have been something on my part, but he said, I hear everything you both are saying, and I truly thank you because I'm at a place in my life, but I feel that I can be somewhere else, and I will put my mindset on stepping up because I believe I can do it. One of the things that sat out to me, Darren, is because you said, I believe I can do it. What you say is what you can do. So that will happen because you know what? Because you said you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But I really want you to come to the space of believing it in your heart. You know what I'm saying? And you don't even have to have it all figured out. A lot of times where we lose ourselves in our purpose is we come to the point of trying to figure out all the steps, trying to figure out that how the moment that you speak and say that you want something with conviction, crazy how it opens up. So you really have to come to the point of saying what you want in your life. What do you want to create? And it used to annoy me so bad when I went to like mentors and things like that. They were like, what does you want? I don't know. I tried to do everything I thought I wanted. But you know what? I had to sit still. I had a journal. I opened up that journal and just wrote. And I look back at that journal, and one of the things that I wrote in that journal is coming to fruition now, 4 years later. So it's always good to get the thoughts and everything that's going in your head and have a brain dump. Every night I have a brain dump. Or if anything sits on my heart, I'll write it in a journal. So it's very important to do that because it's like, okay, so think about like we're all into technology and everything this way. If you keep having so much, it's like putting all these things on your computer. You got to clear that stuff out because you're blocking your bandwidth. And how I look at how our bandwidth, the internet and things like that, I don't know where it comes from. I'm not like a techie person, but if we want to compare like, a computer to our mind, we got to clear those things out so we can have more room for other things. You get what I'm saying? And then you got to do that so you can bump it, knock out all the just the crazy chaos that go in your mind. You think all the time. It doesn't stop. But you got to be able to dump that out so that you can be able to bring the things that you want to create within your life. Make sure you have a spyware in your life. Just like you got spyware in your computer from hackers and things like that. Be mindful and careful of who you speak to and who you share yourself, your thoughts, your passions, your desires with. Because some of your friends and people don't have the intention of
right.
Spyware for your life.
That's good. And I'm gonna say this. Number one, let's let yourself off the hook. You don't have to know what your purpose is. The juice is not in the destination. The juice is in the journey. And so settle yourself because your feet are going to be on the path for a while. And you're going to get to a place and then the door is going to open and you're going to go through the door and you got to go somewhere else and you got to go somewhere else and you got to go somewhere else. What did I get out of the places that I've been and the things? What is the greatest takeaway that I have? I would say the greatest takeaway that I have from all of those seasons of crazy that I went through, and some of it was by my own hand. But the seasons of crazy that I went through, I will say this. The compassion that I have for people, the compassion that I have for people's journey, the compassion to see that people are struggling, and that's the truth. They're struggling to stay alive. They're struggling to show up. They're struggling, and as a business coach, I really want to deal with your product and your service. But what happens is I have to deal with the most precious place that your product will ever grace the shelf of. And that is the shelf of your soul. And if your soul is damaged and you're going through and you're pressing out something good, you're pressing out something creative, you're pressing out something that will add value to the market, but everything that's in your soul is crazy and crunchy and scarred and still bleeding and still hurting and you're still going through, your product or your service is not going to last very long because it is your baby and it is sustained by you. It is sustained by how you feed it and how you feel about it, and you will become a neglectful parent. And then I will be there left with your product or your service. I'm like DFAX. That's what happens. I become like DFAX. And I'm like, you are neglecting your child and I'm going off. But the issue is the shelf of your soul needs to be cleared off. And the first step of coming into the purpose, not your overall purpose, your purpose of today, your purpose of this season. And sweetie, baby, boo-boo, your purpose of this season may be just to live. maybe just to stay alive, maybe just to gain some ground, to just be quiet, to have a reprieve from the place of danger that you just came through. And I'm saying to you, it's okay. I'm saying to you, if you don't know what your product is supposed to be, your multiple streams of income, I'm saying to you, it's okay if your credit is in the toilet. I'm saying to you, it's okay if you got kids and people left you, and you're a great parent, you're a great person, you're a great daughter, you're a great friend, you're a great employer, you're a great employee, and I call you all of those things now, even before you even have it. I'm saying to you, it's okay. Let yourself off the hook. If you don't know where your next meal is going to come from, let yourself off. It's okay.
Anise, I think you're breaking up a little bit.
Is it?
Yeah, you're a little blurry.
Am I? No, I can't tell.
Okay. We hear you now.
Okay.
Type in the chat and make sure you guys can hear us, because you were breaking up a little bit on my end. Just a little bit.
Okay.
If you can hear us, please type in the chat. Let me read some of these comments. Amen. That's so true, Anise. LOL, brain dump. Yes, I believe in brain dumps. Mm-hmm. Whatever remains after the shaking is meant to be. Yes. Absolutely, Misha Wesley. We got a lot of amens here. Inspirational amen. So looks like you guys are enjoying this. I hope everybody can hear us. Okay, I heard it. Good. Okay, cool. Thank you guys. So I'm gonna leave you guys with these 4 things. And then we'll just open up for anybody who have questions. If you have questions, go ahead and start typing them in the chat now. And if you got a pen and paper, I would love for you guys to pretty much write this down. If you haven't, you should have been writing down the whole time anyway. So as far as with, definitely finding your purpose is to get more action. You can't think your way into finding your life purpose if you have to do your way into it. So, I mean, you pretty much have to do your way into it. So you got to get to the point of getting in action. The moment, it's good to sit still. Let's not confuse when we say sit still. If you're at such a dark moment, you do need to pull yourself out and sit still. But once you get to that space, and you'll know when you're ready to go, because you'll start feeling a fulfillment within yourself. And it's like, I don't know what. And that was what it was for me. I remember telling myself, I don't know what, but it's something out there for me, and I got to go find it. When you get to that point, then that's when you need to get more in action.
Can I say
another thing?
Can I say,
sure.
I just want to give you a little activity to do. When you say, I'll probably add a little activity to it. Even if you're in a place where you can't move, right? You can still read and write. Mm-hmm. And so I'm telling you, when I give you my story, I handled it wrong. Hear me when I say that. I put myself in a crisis I didn't have to be in. Okay? So every day when you wake up, if you are in a weird, crazy space, every day when you wake up, or throughout the day, but really when you wake up, when it's fresh, write down 10 ideas. Just 10. And they could be crazy. They could be to the left. I wonder why cotton balls are so fluffy. And is there a way to make them where the cotton doesn't come off, but it's still like a fluffy ball? Write it down. And keep doing it, and keep doing it, and keep doing it, and keep doing it. And eventually you're going to have a notebook full of ideas. All of those ideas, it's a numbers game. Everything is a numbers game. All of those ideas won't work, but I bet you out of 1,000 ideas, there's 10 really good ideas. Keep your mind working. Keep your mind juicy. Keep your mind moving, even when you don't feel like you're moving. I'm telling you, don't just sit there. That was the wrong thing to do. I needed to keep my mouth shut so I wasn't saying something stupid, but I needed my mind to keep going so that when I did wake up and it was time for me to join life, I had something to reference and say, I can do this. I can do this, and I can do this. Go ahead.
Awesome. And yeah, that goes back into, like I said, you can read and write. Well, I hope so. But you're at a space where you can read and write. Just continue to write down, because like I said, when I found a lot of things and don't be afraid to go back and look, especially once you conquer that moment. So the second thing I talked about, as far as the first one is get more action, is to drop from your head to your heart. I'll say that again, drop from your head to your heart. And what I mean by that is exactly what Anise and I are talking about. When you're writing, you're getting it out your head on paper, and then what's left is what's in your heart. So that's one of the things that I definitely talk about, because your heart is like one of the most amazing spaces where you can really find your drive and your passion is within. It's not in your head, your thoughts, because your thoughts in your head. Let me just tell you something really quick. Your head is a space. You know the way your brain functions, and if you guys are really into, I remember when I was studying psychology, it's only meant a space to keep you safe. So just like, when you're before all the things that, like I said, when I talked about earlier in this video, when I talked about we're hardwired, before you got all those things, just think about when a baby is born, the one thing that scares them or fail is falling. You still have that in your mind as an adult, but we look at falling as failure. Somebody's gonna laugh at me. I'm gonna launch the business. I lose all my money. Don't do that. Your mind, if you stay in your head, is always gonna halt you to not, to protect you, to not fail or fall. So it's always important to drop that from your head to your heart. Get it out your head, write it on paper, and then sit with yourself. And then that's when you be still and see what's still in your heart.
Mm-hmm. The old folks would say, chew the fat and spit out the bones. And so
that's a damn fact.
When you're writing, when you're dumping and you're getting all that stuff up, you got to weed through it. You keep the fat, you keep the juicy stuff, and what you can't digest, you let it go. That's a way to capture the crazy that's going on. You need to capture it, and then you can also find your triggers. Your triggers will stay with you. You need to know where your triggers are. You need to always understand what's in your environment that's hunting you. You're going to come through your season, but some things are still going to hunt you. Know what your triggers are. So understand where's the bones and where's the meat. Let me keep the meat. Let me spit out the bones.
Absolutely. So the third thing that I talked about, so the first one I said, as far as get more action. 2, drop from your head to your heart. And in that, we talked about write down, right? Everything, all the crazy thoughts or whatever it is, write down, whatever's circulating in your head. Sorry, it was something flying. And then the third thing is to break up with you, the old you that's holding you back and everything like that. Break up with yourself. I had to really break up if you're not happy. Okay, we're talking about someone who's really stuck and trying to find themselves in the back and to really find their purpose. You have to be able to be willing to break up with your old self, your old patterns, your old thoughts, anything that does not serve you. Break up with it. Let it go. And then the fourth thing is pretty much a formula that I talked about, and I can't remember exactly where I got this before. I'm always reading and listening to audios and getting so much content, I start to forget where it comes from. So if it is anybody, please comment where it comes from. But this isn't mine. But one of the formulas is passion plus daily actions equals a purposeful life. So even if you haven't found your exact purpose, if you're willing to come to this point, like Anise has said, she didn't do anything. She just sat, in a space and never wrote down. Your daily action can be something as far as just writing something down, or just a prayer every day, or a meditation, whatever the case may be, but always stay in action. So, that's where you'll find the purpose for life, is once you find particularly what your passion is and having daily action steps, then that's where you find it. And it's all a learning journey, and love the journey, love the process, love everything what it is, because that is what's going to shape you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I did was, and you may want to do this, I reframed everything. I didn't break up with myself. I reframed it. And so that meant I would write letters from people, and in those I would handwrite notes. And this is crazy. I would handwrite notes from people who I needed some sort of closure, or I needed some sort of, healing. And I would write the letter as if I was getting what I needed. Fold it up, come back to it a week later. I would read it, and that gave me such peace and such healing, even though that person or that entity never came back. And then I did that for myself too. I didn't want to let myself go. I don't want to dump myself. I don't, and I know that breaking up, I understand where that comes from, because I've heard that before, and I know that. But for me, I just needed to pick her up, brush her off, and let's go. Because the wisdom from the chick who fell down, the wisdom that from the chick who was depressed, the wisdom, I don't want to let that go. And so there's so much wisdom in the pain. There was so much wisdom. And so for me, it was picking her up, forgiveness, forgiving her, loving her, brushing her off, but we're going. I'm not, everything and all things are working together. good and bad, and I need them to stay together. All things are coming together, and it's going to serve me by and by and by and by. And so whatever techniques that you use, you just got to make some decisions about where you are right now. You got to reframe it and rename it. Reframe it and rename it. When you name something, you're giving it a frame, you're giving it a definition. Rename it. It may be the darkest hour in the lowest place, but wisdom says this is the beginning. This is the floor to your beginning. This is the floor to your greatness. This is the floor to beauty. This is the floor to dancing. This is the floor to joy. And so you're going to get so much joy, and you're going to meet so many amazing people along the way. The adventure is getting ready to begin. So when I reframed it, even though I'm at the bottom of the thing, I am at the bottom of the thing, but I'm beginning to build, and it's going to be great, and it's going to be something fantastic, and it's going to serve me.
Absolutely. And as you see, like, we're giving our personal stories. I came from a place where something didn't serve me anymore. I had to break through. I also had experience where I personally wrote letters to people that, it was like I held on to something. And I also had that experience of breaking through, writing through the letters of where I held, particular emotions. And we also have a comment where Misha said, I actually did that when I went through deliverance. I wrote letters to the people who hurt me, even to myself. I love that. I did the same thing. I wrote a letter to myself. Yes. So for me, there was something that was still not serving me, or whatever the case may be. So, you got two different perspectives here, and when I say break up, I'm not saying like, kill yourself, right? Kill yourself, not saying that. But you just need to come at a point, if something is not serving you, you gotta let it go. You gotta find what it is and come to a space. So, we're just giving you perspectives of where it is, but find what's on your heart. What I'm sharing, what Anise might be sharing, may not be something to work for you, but as you said, you have to find your groove and where it works. Just get into that you don't stop looking for what you want in your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Darren Wingate also said, one piece at a time. Yes, everything is by layers. Yes. So we're hitting our hour mark. We didn't have any technical difficulties this week. So I hope that this was very helpful for you. I hope that this was serving. Please share this. We're just speaking off our hearts of what it is, because this is something in a sacred space where a lot of times people don't want to speak on this. And, I'm also, Anise and I are both business coaches. And one of the things that really bother me is that people don't dig in and really find out what kind of baggage are you bringing into your business. You cannot start a business if you do not kind of open up that bag and really like muster up the things that are blocking you personally, because it's you that has to drive this business. Nobody else is going to drive it for you. So I love that Anise and I have found each other and came together about this and speak about these things, because a lot of people aren't talking about that. When you go to these events and webinars and stuff like that, they're all talking about how to multiply your 6-7 figure business. But if you haven't even multiplied yourself personally on a personal level to believe in yourself to do so, you're not going to get anywhere. You're going to be stuck.
Absolutely.
Misha said, no, that's good. I had to break up with certain situations at different seasons of your life. Yes. I love what you said. Maybe that should be a topic for next week, as far as what we should talk about, call it, or something about seasons, because everything in life works by seasons.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You got something,
understanding or defining, or how to track I believe in every season that you see, and certainly if you don't study your seasons, that's where you get cycles. And the law of inertia says that things will keep going in a particular path in a straight line until something comes and knocks it off course. You being awake and understanding the cycles in your life, you'll be able to see where you're getting ready to end up. In business, we call that making scenarios. That's when a new business sits down, they go through what's called scenario planning. And so a team, they break into and they make all these different scenarios of what could happen. And based off of the outcomes of those scenarios, the projected outcomes, they choose the best scenario for that particular season. And so we can do the same thing if we understand how the cycles in our life works. And if the cycle is not serving you, then you need to let it go, and you need to let it go quickly and break up the monotony of that straight line, that this is going to happen because this is the cycle that your life is on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Someone said absolutely we must be aware of our personal times and seasons. Absolutely. We're going to talk about something around the realm of that next week.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, as we say, we definitely speak on this as far as for the ladies, but we are welcoming you, gentlemen. So, Darren, thank you for coming and speaking and even commenting. Some of you guys, I know y'all on here, y'all just scared to talk. So, we definitely thank you guys for tuning in to the Purpose Lab, where we have the Boss Up Chat series, and tune in again next week. Which is Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. And we look forward to, hearing from what you guys from. Is there if there's anything particular that you have questions on, you want us to speak about, definitely, comment in the chat, hit us up. We're always here to speak on this. And we thank you guys. Nisa, you have any last words?
No, you guys just put these things. The only when things work is when we work the thing. So if one thing really stuck out to you, or if you're in a place where something is jogging, a place in you, work the thing. Work the thing.
Yeah, so work that thing, y'all. My battery is about to die, so I'm glad that we were able to wrap up. We see you guys next week. We thank you so much. We got some comments in the chat saying thank you. We thank you. It's all about giving and receiving, reciprocal. So we really appreciate you guys and for your comments. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.